yours too. But we can always ask his brother. How are you, Mr. Moloney with 2 O's? Oh, you have to unmute.
Have to unmute, sir.
Do you? Can you? Yeah, you're not unmuted. Not just yet.
Sorry about that, guys.
Oh,
Sorry.
No problem.
Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, really good, mate. How are you guys?
Good.
We're good. We're good. Just wrapped up an interview with your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are not twins, right? Don't look like twins.
Yeah, we're twins. We're twins.
What?
I told you.
Nah, I could totally tell you guys apart.
Yeah, the smart ones can, mate. The smart ones can. We're not meant to be identical. We're fraternal twins.
Oh, okay.
We're similar. He tries his best to look like me, but we have a difference.
That's funny. So, who's kind of the big brother?
I'm a minute older.
Okay. And do you act like the big brother?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Because I feel like everyone thinks or acts as if Jermell Charlo is the older brother, but they're twins.
But
you know?
but Jermell is actually the older by a minute. It's
really?
Same scenario. So Jermell is actually the older brother by a minute.
Okay. Nice.
Really, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't think that I got an opportunity to ask your brother, which will make this one unique. What got you guys into boxing, or rather you, since you're a minute older?
Oh, a couple of reasons really. We just love sport as young guys, as most boys do. But we loved Australian rules football. I don't know if you've ever seen Australian rules football. It's our country's code of football, and
yes.
We wanted to be professional footballers, and we loved it. And in the off season, we didn't really have a sport that we were doing. We'd sort of just wait for the next season to roll around, and we thought, let's start some boxing and get super fit, and hopefully that'll give us a bit of an edge over the rest of the competition. And yeah, we took up boxing and just fell in love with it, and we sort of juggled the two for a little while, boxing and football at the same time. But in the end, we had to make a decision which one we wanted to pursue. I actually lost my first 3 fights, and Andrew lost his first 7 fights.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that? Because we were boxing, but we were still, so heavily involved in football that we weren't probably giving boxing the time that it needed. We're just training sort of twice a week, for fitness basically. But we really loved boxing, and we wanted to see how far we could go. So we decided, let's give footy away, and let's concentrate 100% on boxing and see how far we can go. And I think we made a good decision. We're a bit too small for football players, and obviously we love boxing, and we're very grateful that we can do that every day.
So what do you know about your opponent?
Yeah, I know a bit about Aston Palicte. I'm a hardcore boxing fan, so I follow all the big fights, and I keep a good eye on any fighter that's in or around my weight division. I've seen Palicte's fights with Donny Nietes, which was a world title fight that he had a draw. For his world title fight against Ioka, which he did pretty well up until the stoppage. I've sort of seen him for a while now, and always thought that he was a potential opponent. He's a good fighter. He's a dangerous fighter. Like myself, he's had 2 world title fights and just fallen short, one being as close as a draw. And obviously I had a split decision loss as well for a world title. So I know we're both going to be hungry, because the winner of this fight will most likely get another shot at that world title, and the loser, well, it's a big setback. So there's going to be 2 hungry guys in the ring, and I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. But I know that I'm too hungry and too determined, and put in too much hard work to let him get in my way. So I'm looking forward to getting in there and putting on a great performance.
And while he's been in there with some good names, would you say that you have, been in with the better opposition?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been in there with one of the pound-for-pound best in the world in Anui, and even though he's been in there with guys like Aoka and Nites, who are good champions in their own right, I don't think they're at that level. So, yeah, I think I've been in there with the better opposition. And I think, yeah, overall, the people I've beaten, my resume is better than his. But, it's two good fighters putting it all on the line. So I'm looking forward to that.
And what can you tell us about your style of fighting for the person that hasn't had the opportunity to see you? I mean, you've pretty much been fighting on ESPN for a minute now, but if anyone hasn't seen you, can you let the audience know your I guess your style?
Yeah, well, when I'm at my best, and that's what I've gone back to doing a bit more now. I think I learnt my lessons in a few of my performances where I probably didn't fight to my strengths. My strengths is when I'm coming forward, when I'm aggressive, throwing a lot of punches and really trying to break my opponent down. I think one of my greatest assets is my fitness and my strength and my punch output. So I'm a high volume puncher. I like to be aggressive and come forward and put on entertaining fights and look to break my opponents down. So I think I'm an entertaining fighter to watch and always bring everything I've got to every fight and put it all on the line.
And like I asked your brother, was it important to you to be on this specific card?
Oh, absolutely. This is a dream come true. Growing up, as I said, I was a massive football fan, and we used to go to Marvel Stadium and watch the football. And I always thought, this stadium would just be incredible to fight in. And it had never been done before up until now, to have a boxing fight there. So, yeah, this is absolutely huge, and it's a dream come true to be part of this show. So, very excited. There's a lot of buzz getting around Australia. Everyone's really pumped to have, this huge mega stadium fight in our country. So I'm looking forward to going there, putting on a really good show and having people really excited about boxing.
And have you previously met all these Australians? Because I know Lucas Brown is on there, you and your brother, George. It's a lot of Australians. Have you...
Junior Fa? Or he's from New Zealand, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. Junior Fa's from New Zealand. But have you met them before, or is this going to be your first time?
No, I've met all these guys.
All of them?
In Australia is a pretty small circle. So, yeah, I've met them all. Me and George actually fought in the amateurs.
Oh, wow.
So a bit of a claim to fame to have a victory over the undisputed champ at the minute.
So, has George been, I don't know, I don't want to say accepted, but I can't think of a better word, because we hear like that it may not be because of he's like from Greece as well. So everyone's kind of waiting to see what sort of reception he gets. Or are we getting false information?
No, I think he's really respected in Australia now.
Okay.
He's an Aussie. He's born in Australia. He's lived here his whole life. But I think he, when you got that personality, he's quite brash and outspoken and very confident.
The Emperor.
Sorry?
The Emperor.
That's what he...
Yeah. In our country, a lot of people are very humble, and maybe some people don't like the way that comes across. He can rub people up the wrong way with that really overconfidence and cockiness. But now that he's gone out there and proven himself, if you can talk the talk, you got to be able to walk the walk. And he's backed it up, and he had a sensational win over Lopez. And I think he's really started to earn the respect of the Australian public and made everyone so excited that he's been able to bring this mega fight to our country. So I think he's got a lot of fans. And, mate, if you can beat Haney and become the official, no arguments, undisputed champion, then I think you'll have a lot more fans as well. So he's doing well, and everyone's very happy for him.
My last one. Where do you have Jermell Charlo on your pound-for-pound list?
Mate, you got to put him up there now. Honestly, after that first Castano fight, I wasn't very impressed in that performance. But, mate, he looked incredible on the weekend. And, yeah, when you're undisputed, you got to be high on that list. So I think he should probably be top 5.
Good man.
Jason, wanted to ask, obviously there's been a lot of talk these last few days with Dazn Haney making the trip out there to Australia without his head trainer and his father, and without his second and Ben Davison. What do you make of the whole situation and the fact that he still came out? I'm sure some people wouldn't have came without their head trainer and their second.
Yeah, you got to really respect Dazn Haney for what he's done to make this fight happen. At 23 years old, and to go and sign with Top Rank and ESPN and come over to Australia, which is a long way away. I know what it's like to travel across the world for a fight. It's not easy. But to come over here without his dad and his trainer and his second, as you said, that just shows, some people say how bad they want it, and then when it comes down to it, they're not willing. But he's shown how bad he wants this, and that he's willing to do whatever it takes to make this fight happen and to become the undisputed champion. So huge respect to him for coming over. Can't wait to see the fight, and yeah, may the best man win.
I know I was actually there when you and your brother met him. He was doing his basically like workout and photo shoot for Top Rank. The fight had just been announced and whatnot. You guys were able to speak a little bit. What was that exchange like, and what'd you guys say?
Yeah, no, he's a really cool guy. That was the first time I've met him, and really down to earth and friendly guy. He was just saying, yeah, can't wait to come to Australia, and you guys will have to look after me and show me where to go and all this sort of stuff. And he was sort of asking how long we normally go across, to acclimatise and adjust your body clock, and just sort of asking a few questions. But he even at that stage, he sort of knew that we were going to be on the undercard, and we were just saying how excited we were, how big it's going to be. And yeah, mate, he was a super friendly guy. So got a lot of time for him, and big fan of his. So looking forward to the fight.
Now, I'm glad you brought it up because we were talking about it with your brother, and obviously you've made the trip plenty of times yourself. He got out there 16 days or 17 days before the fight. What do you think of that, given that obviously George and Devin are slotted to fight for a U.S. Saturday night primetime slot, which, he's been fighting his whole career?
Yeah, I think that time's okay. Initially, when they were asking us, like I said in the gym, how long we normally come over before, we normally allow sort of 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, just to really settle in, adjust your body clock, make sure that there's no jet lag or anything hanging around on fight night. So, in an ideal situation, you'd probably say you maybe come over a few days earlier, but a few days shouldn't make a difference. And obviously they decided to come a little bit later because he wanted to spend more time with his head coach and his father. So I understand why they maybe delayed coming out here a little bit. And in the end, yeah, those few days aren't really going to matter, but you never know, because if you've never done that big trip before, you've never had to adjust your body clock. I guess you don't ever know how well someone's going to travel. It isn't easy. There is times when, there is quite a few days when you land where you're a bit jet lagged, and, it takes you a while for that adjustment to happen. So everyone's different. He might come over here and find that it was very rough and he might not feel great, but other people, it really doesn't affect at all. And, they'll just come over here and business as usual,
right,
jump in the ring and perform at their absolute best, which I think will happen. I think certain guys like a Haney, they're born for that big stage, and when the occasion's there, like an undisputed world championship, you're going to rise and you're going to perform your absolute best.
Now, obviously, George is your fellow countryman, but just want your thoughts on the fight. Obviously, it's reported 55,000 plus maybe are going to be in attendance on the night. So how do you see that fight play out?
A really tough one to pick, mate. I don't want to be a guy that sits on the fence. Myself, being an Aussie, I would love George to win, just because, I'm getting this huge opportunity to fight at Marvel Stadium, because George has brought this huge mega fight to our country. So the more success us Aussies have and the more big stadium shows we can have in this country, the better. And, you know, the bigger platform fighters like myself get to fight on, big opportunities for us. So I'd love to see George do well. I think Devon's a tremendous talent, a very good fighter. So it's a very hard fight to pick. Obviously, Devon's pretty good at, you know, sitting back and picking his shots and pot shotting, and maybe doesn't throw the volume that George does. So there's going to be some hard rounds, and I think George's high output, you know, he's a volume puncher. He'll come to fight, like he showed against Lopez. He puts it all on the line. So I think he could edge rounds just with his high activity. But Devon could, you know, pick him off coming in and land those cleaner, crisper shots. I don't see it ending in a knockout. I think it goes the distance in a close fight. And, yeah, I've got to go with my countryman and hope that the Aussie pulls it off.
No, obviously that would be big, and it's going to be a big night. I'm curious because I was telling your brother that given that they're catering to American audience, they're doing fights before and after the main event. So are you going to be after the George and Devon fight or right before?
Right before, yeah. Mine's the co-feature or the semi-main or whatever you want to call it. My fight is the one before KambososHaney. So, yeah, a huge audience, a huge platform, a huge opportunity for me. So I'm stoked and just can't wait to get on and put on a really good fight and come out on top and take a giant step towards becoming a world champion myself. And hopefully one day I'll be headlining shows at Marvel Stadium myself. Hopefully
so, because for me, I think just because we talk about the fight, I've had a lot of Australian fans and, you know, even Australian amateur fighters reaching out, and I love to see the excitement behind the fight. Have you felt it? Obviously, you're fighting in it, but have you felt it, just any buzz around town, or do you think it's still a bit far out and you think it'll come more on the week of?
No, they're starting to get some real good excitement now, which is awesome because, you know, boxing's not that big in Australia, unfortunately. We don't normally get the media attention we deserve. And there's, you know, most of Australia, you know, they're not really the hardcore boxing fans and they don't follow the sport enough. And it's a shame. And something that's really important for me is to help grow the sport and make boxing bigger in this country and get people excited. And so, I mean, so having these big stadium shows and getting people, you know, excited about boxing is so important. And it's important for us to all go out on June the 5th, June the 4th, your time, and put on, you know, a spectacular display so that everyone walks away and says, yes, you know, I can't wait for the next boxing fight, or can't wait to watch Jason Moloney fight again. And that's very important. And everyone's starting to get very excited. And I just can't wait to get in there.
Excuse me.
It's going to be good.
No, that's great to hear. And I guess whether George wins or whether Devon wins, because they say that even if Devon wins, there's a rematch clause in place in Australia. So yeah. I guess, you know, regardless of the winner on June the 5th, that you will have an opportunity to showcase your talents in front of your home crowd, in front of another big crowd. So that's always good. And maybe the next time it will be for the world title opportunity.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. But, yeah, that's, as you said, that's what it's looking like. There'll be a rematch if Devon wins. So, yeah, it's a win-win for me. I like both guys. So, yeah, wish them both all the best. And, if we can get it on again and have a rematch in Australia, another huge opportunity. And, obviously, I've got to go out and win on June the 4th, June the 5th. I've got to go out there and win and earn myself that world title fight. And then, hopefully, later in the year, I'll fight for a world title in my own country, which would be a dream come true.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, thank you very much. And I'm actually planning to make the trip out there, so hopefully I get to see you and your brother on the weekend. Looking forward to it. So thank you for taking your time. I know you guys have to get to training.
Nah, you're a legend, mate. Thanks for having me on, guys.
I actually wanted to ask, did you have the opportunity to choose to be co-main and fight before George, or How'd that work out? Because your brother chose to go after the fight.
Nah, I didn't have a say. Obviously, I wanted to be, that would have been my ideal choice. But yeah, being that my fight's obviously a very good fight. It's for WBO international title and the WBC silver title. 2 former world title challenges. So it's a big fight, and I'm stoked to be, the semi-main event and to be fighting, and such a huge part of this huge fight card. So very grateful for the opportunity, and I'm going to grab it with both hands and seize the moment.
All right. Well, thank you. Do you normally, because your brother said he normally starts training at 7:30 a.m. So is sparring kind of the time that you're going to fight?
We'll make sure it is. Yeah, we'll start, even when we go to America, that's what we do. We start, putting our sparring sessions on fight time. So I'll be fighting at 12:30, basically, midday in Australia. So yeah, that's where I'll start to shift my sparring sessions to. But obviously, there's not going to take too much adjustments. That's the perfect time to fight. No one. It's the middle of the day. You're at peak energy. I won't be tired. So yeah, it's perfect. Really, I won't have to do too much adjusting. Whereas when we go to America, I start sparring at sort of 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night, to make sure that when I get in the ring, I'm not looking forward to going to bed. I'm ready to go. So that's when the adjustments are important. But having a fight at 12:30 is perfect, and I'll be jumping out of my skin.
All right, Jason. Well, thank you once again for coming on the show. We'd like to get you guys back on after the big wins, just to let us know how everything went.
Yeah, we'd love to, and we'll look after you in Australia. Hope you have a great time out here.
All right.
Hopefully. Thank you very much, and look forward to the fight.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Well,
guys.
there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Moloney, and that's with 2 O's.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars and title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.